All aboard! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, I am Beast Mikey. I am now arrived at my train of thought. I know, the NHL and NBA power rankings are coming. They're going to happen later this week, probably tomorrow and Friday for both leagues. But I did want to take some time and do something that Annette suggested that I should have done a while ago. I never really stopped to smell the roses. She's right. She was right about that. And I'm going to do so here. And I know I haven't really updated anyone on the progressions I made when it comes to my fitness journey and challenge. I'm going to do that here and kind of put some mental stuff into it too, because a lot of some mental changes have happened as well. And I closed out 2024 with a resolution that some of you may have seen, and it came from one of my sports greatest rivals, if you will, or at least a rival from a team and a rival when it comes to a player. And Kobe Bryant, a fellow Virgo of mine, did ask a very good question.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Somehow, he asked that to my favorite rapper, Kanye West, and it stuck with me. It's wild that it's coming from a guy on a team I did not cheer for and coming against a guy that I gladly cheered against as a Spurs fan. They're really good right now. And that I was able to take that quote and turn that into something that could be way more meaningful for me going forward. And to be honest, I did procrastinate for 2 months before I started this fitness journey, if you will. I wasn't doing it. I was kind of overthinking it. I was kind of like, okay, is this really worth it? Is this good for me? Like, am I really prepared to put in the commitment that it takes to do all this? And it took 2 months to really finally pull the trigger on it, and I did. And I have not looked back. It hasn't been easy. It definitely hasn't been easy. And there are obviously some days where like, I really don't want to do this because I'm kind of bored with it. But no, I just keep going. I just did not stop. And for me, it was about the physical challenge. Did I lift at home? Yes. Did I use weights at home? Sure. But I wanted the physical challenge. I wanted the physical challenge of saying, okay, let's use this machine. Let's use this machine. Let's use these weights. Let's go and figure out how good can I be if I did not stop. The one thing I did not do was buy a scale. That would have been overthinking. And I know it would have been my doctor's advice was to go get a scale and to weigh myself constantly. I would have been overly critical and overly analytical of my progress, whether I made any or not. It's a Virgo thing, I know. And for me, it was starting at 365 pounds. I never really let the weight bother me. I never really let it define me, I guess. I always moved a little differently, moved a little gracefully, I get, for my size. Yet, it was different. I wanted to move even better than what I was. I wanted to be even stronger than what I was. And I figured this was the way to do it. I ended the year, I would say, at 345. This is 2024. I ended that year at that weight. And over time, it just got better. And it got better, and it got better. And by April of last year, I started to notice it in my clothing. It just didn't fit as much. It was starting to get way too big, which was wild. And the first goal for me was 300 pounds. And I finally got there on my sister's birthday, my youngest sister, July 31st. I finally got there on that birthday. And that hit different. It really did. It emotionally hit different. I was not expecting it to hit as hard as it did. Yet it got there. And I noticed it obviously even further, like, oh, okay, I'm getting faster with my scooter. I'm getting stronger with lifting. It got easier for me to do more cardio. And somehow it hit differently. So that means the next goal is 265. And I didn't get there on the gym anniversary, October 25th. I was 91% of the way there, which is never a bad thing, I suppose. And I eventually got there a few weeks later with my doctor's visit in November. And he wondered, how did you do this? How did you possibly shed all this weight in this short amount of time? And he was one of the people that got on me about it. He was one of two people that absolutely got on me about, oh, you really should get on something like this. And the fact that I did it my own way, he was like, how did you pull this off? And it's the same mentality that I had when it came to my serious jobs that I have with my radio ambition, with my YouTube channel, as you're noticing, with my jobs that I really enjoyed before going to Penn State, all of it. Anything I wanted to do that I had full control over, I didn't stop. I just did not stop. I could not stop. It was no Diddy, but I could not stop. And can't stop, won't stop float. Again, no Diddy. But it was something I just had to be relentless with. It was something I just could not... I didn't want to go back to what I used to be. And not that I hated it, but it's like, oh, this is better. This is just a lot better for me. This is just a lot better physically. This is just a lot better mentally. There's a little bit more confidence from a person who's naturally confident. It's kind of wild, I would say. And to get to the end of the year, it was great to end the year with another perfect square, 258 in terms of pounds. It's the lightest I've been in 20 years at that point, to be honest. And that's absolutely stunning to see that number. Is like, whoa, it's different. It's very different. As one who loves perfect squares, to end 2025 on one, 25 being a perfect square, obviously, 25 being my birth date added up, and 9 and 16 are perfect squares, and then multiplied together are perfect squares. The one day of the year where that's a thing, the fact that it ended on a perfect square, it's fitting. It works. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I will not pretend to be. But the fact that all of this ended on perfect squares, I love to see it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And here's where I am now. This is where I rest now when it comes to my weight. And again, it's the lightest I've been in at least 20 years. And I will probably be even lighter as we go. The pictures that you've seen of me over this time period, like, I enjoyed all the pictures I've had, from pictures at stadiums or wherever I've taken them. I've enjoyed all of it. It's fun. I don't regret it. I don't regret what I used to look like. I don't. I was comfortable with it, and I'm getting more comfortable with my own skin now that it's different. Will I be like the people on Beauty on FX? Probably not. At least not that kind of insane, or exploding when things go bad. But I think I'm going to be all right. I think things are going to work out here. Well, I get to the figure that this guy has. And it's kind of ironic that from one military person to another, Bobby Lashley and my dad, it was the latter who suggested that I could look like the former if I really tried. Now, I know what you're thinking. He's very, very bald. Yes, Bobby Lashley is very, very bald. But this very, very bald man is also very, very jacked and is incredibly disciplined. And that needs to be commended. And that needs to be respected and acknowledged. Never mind the hair stuff. The hair stuff is do what you want with that. But he's very cool. The fact that he's able to stay that strong and that jacked and that ripped over the time period that we've all seen him, and even the time that he spent in the Army, all of it. The fact that he's able to do all of that was in the Air Force, and be that kind of strong is incredibly impressive. And that is a build that would be tremendous to have. Now, for the height supremacist, I am not 6'3". Unfortunately, I don't think I can grow any taller. I don't think it's like Skilo. I forgot the commercial that should have been with the Super Bowl. Keenan Thompson was involved in it. You completely botched an opportunity where you could have used Skilo in it, but you didn't. Anyway, we're going to keep it moving. I won't get to 6'3", like I said. And I could move with a 5'11" individual and maybe archetype. That might work for me. Maybe it's this Big E. Former WWE champion. Well, as Lashley is too. But former WWE champion and Big E. Maybe I can move like him in the sense of being more stronger and quicker. And obviously he weighs a little bit more than I do. But it works. He made it work. And obviously with his build, it worked out for him. And that's awesome. And from one Big Ten person to another, I saluted Big E. So congratulations on retirement. And speaking of Big E's, get well soon to Ian Berger, who I met at the Dolphins watch party, if you will, we had at Patty Wax in Philly. I saw the videos for that. I saw the photos for that. I know he hasn't. He's been dealing with some things. I really hope that you guys can read his story and understand his story, and that the doctors here and in Florida or wherever they may be can help him get the help he needs, and that he is able to and if he doesn't, unfortunately, I wish him that he lives life to the fullest, as full as he can, like he is apparently doing, and I love that for him. He's a really good dude. One of the guys that really suggested that here we should have a Findependence Hall. It was him and it was Dahl. And I want to get that continuous growth going. I know there are Dolphin fans in the area that we can make that happen and kind of rebuild it, if you will, similar to how the Dolphins are rebuilding. Miami Mock Mondays, coming soon. But anyway, Big E, get well soon, man. Get well soon, my guy. So now that we've gotten to the physical portion of this, it's the mental part too that has also changed. So in this part two, I guess I should probably explain it. I didn't expect to see as much red pill content as I did. I was not ready for all of that. But as one who thinks logically and one who thinks with analytics and things of that nature, I think it makes sense. Some of it does. Are all women evil, like the channels of Griffin Mind or Levi Nix or Jedediah Bila or The Wall or these channels? Are Alpha Central? Are all women evil? No. Are a good amount of them evil? Some, probably. And are men evil? Sure. Of course they are. I get it. There are feminists who will probably hate that I said all these things. I do not like feminism in the extent of all men are bad. That's not true. That's fiction. It's men that you run into that are bad, but not all of us are evil. Some of us like to not be that way. That's just the route that it is. I'm not on feminism in the sense of equality that doesn't require sacrifice to go get it. I'm out on that. Do what you do. I'm okay with women working. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And like showing off their talents and their perspectives, I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome to do that. I just don't want to have to compete in a mental scape like this. Competing with games and things like board games, video games, and the sports teams, sure, love that. We can do that all day. But competing in terms of like mentality, in a sense of I do A, B, and C, you do X, Y, and Z, and that's like mine outweighs. Like, no, we work as a team. That's the way it always should be. It's the way I think it has to be for everything to work. Is this phrase 100% true? I don't know. It may have weight to it. At least it does for me. But I don't know if it's 100% true. Are there evil men who cheat and sacrifice family for happiness? Of course there are. I'm not going to act like there isn't. That doesn't make any sense. But is this phrase true? It very well may be. With some of the horror stories that you may see online on social media where it's like, oh, I'm not happy, I'm gone. You don't hear that as much from dudes, which is a thing apparently. All those YouTube channels did have one thing in common though. It exposed a lot of women cheating. Now, yes, men do cheat as well, but it doesn't feel like men are as good at it, if you will. Cheating is a choice. It will always be a choice. It is not a mistake. It is not meaningless. Of course it's meaningful because you're tearing down a union that you have with someone else. No, it's meaningful. Let's not minimize this. Stop it. It is a choice. It will always be a choice. Let's not do this. Body count doesn't matter to me to an extent. I mean, there are numbers that are like, whoa, that's way too much. There are numbers where like, okay, fine, cool. And there are numbers like, all right, that works, whatever. Everyone's past is a past. My point about all of that is, if you're honest about it, cool. It's a thing. All right, that's your past. I'm not trying to beat people up for their past, but I just think honesty is the best way to do this. And own what you have been, own who you are. That's simple to me. I don't think it's a bad thing to be straight up about it. Okay, will it make people look not as innocent as they claim? Sure, but that's the point. I think that's the way it should be. And I think it really makes life so much easier and so much less stressful if we know what we're getting into from the word go. One of my science teachers in high school really did simplify this for me. It was no gray areas. I don't believe in them. He's right. He's 100% right. You're either in or you're out. And it's ironic considering silver is my favorite color to wear. But yeah, it's the truth. It's completely in, completely out. If you're in, if we're both in, then it's loyalty. Loyalty is royalty, and that's it in everything to me. And that's not just relationships, but work or people. If it's loyalty, it's true. It's genuine, it's honest, it's the way it should be. If disloyal, if there's betrayal, better not need anything from me. And I'm very cold. I am very much Mr. Freeze in that realm. I don't believe in that. And I don't believe in trying to act like betrayal is okay. I don't believe in that. We should not do that. That clutters things up horribly. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to move away from that kind of stress and that kind of anxiety for the future. It's good for mental health, at least for me. And speaking of which, I hope everyone out there is doing okay. That we are unafraid or unbothered to at least talk to someone if there's something wrong with our mental health. And men's mental health especially should be normalized. At least it's important. It should be mentalized. It should not be minimized. We should talk about it. We should deal with it if we can, at least in peaceful ways. We should go about this. We shouldn't have to handle all of this in silence. I love that the NFL and I love that other entities have done mental health commercials for men. That should be a thing, not just for a month, but for all 12 of them. Not just for 30 days, but 365 of them, 366 on a leap year. We should normalize being able to go talk to whomever we need to talk to or do whatever we need to do to become better and more peaceful. That should be normalized. I get it. The whole machismo thing. Men should internalize it. People are going to say that. I don't care. I don't believe you. I disagree with you. You guys are short-sighted and misguided. And I'd be delighted to see that more people are able to and are willing to go get the help that they need. Go talk to people when necessary and not to those who will weaponize those feelings and emotions against you. I don't believe in that. That is disrespectful. We don't do that. I believe that mental health should be handled well and should be handled upfront and abruptly as soon as possible if necessary. I don't want or need to see any more Rondell Moore stories. Seeing that happen the way it did was unfortunate. It was horribly tragic. And the fact that this is the third or fourth NFL player that has done this over the last year, it's horrible to see that. And we all remember Rondell Moore, a lot of us football fans do, from what he did at Purdue and how dominant he was in that game against Ohio State, where he was the primary reason why they upset the top-ranked Buckeyes on that magical night in Purdue. And it was horrible to hear that. It was stunning to hear it, too, that he passed away and how he passed away. So, seriously, for those who may have mental health issues, let's not be afraid to seek it. Let's not be afraid to go find things that are peaceful. Meditation, gym workouts, whatever. For me, it's a little bit of both of those. Obviously, sports, the sports I watch. Sure, I watch the news and I pay attention to the world around me. It's one of the last things my dad taught me. But these are things I think we should all handle and face head on, whether it's a public setting or private setting. The point is not to handle it alone. And I hope that everyone's going to get the help that they possibly need if they need it. Does this make me traditionalist? Not really. Obviously, the whole machismo thing is a real thing and is very traditional, I would say, from guys. It doesn't make me modern? Probably to an extent that I'd have some sort of emotional IQ and the ability to do a little bit of a lot of things. Am I Mr. Fix-It? Not necessarily. I know what to do once I figure it out, sure, but I'm not like crazy great with it yet. Can I cook and clean and all that good stuff? Actually, yes. I'm actually not bad at that. I've generally been pretty solid at that. I've been cooking and cleaning and washing my clothes since I was a teenager. So that works. I can definitely do that. I've never been one to be terrible at keeping things relatively clean around my surroundings. Never been bad at that. And I guess maybe that's a part of being the part of the best of both worlds when it comes to my parents. And the other thing that they was relentless, and they were resilient. They are resilient They just did not quit. They didn't quit on each other. They didn't quit on us. They didn't quit on things when things were going really bad. They simply didn't quit. And that's the route I think we should all have when it comes to the people that we want relationships with. And to be real, neither of them were modern or traditionalists, at least not fully. Like, they both did work as a team. And that's the best possible way to do all of this. It's the best possible way to move in a world that is completely insane sometimes. And this is one of those times where it's completely insane. If all of this thinking makes me more Eddie Brock than the Peter Parker that you're probably used to when it comes to seeing me, when it comes to seeing what I say or noticing what I say, okay, that's perfectly fine. And that probably should be my mentality anyways, to be more Eddie Brock and a little less Peter Parker. I think that works for me. Eddie is a journalist after all, and Venom by Eminem and also Phenomenal by Eminem are two songs that really helped in this matter. I absolutely will say that. Those were two by Eminem that were like, whoa, it's a different mindset when it comes to these tracks, and how somehow angry at the world he is, but somehow motivated to get better because of the world and in the world. I love that. And I love that kind of fire that both those songs have, where it's like, let's go. Like, I've had to fight the world to prove my point. So be it. Let's go. Let's battle everywhere, everyone, every time if we have to. But battle for those that battle with us, always. That's the route I think we should all have to go. But aside from the gym, what else brought me peace? Several things did. My yearly trips to the auto show. And obviously I've had two of them since the resolution that I made to start 2025. And last year wasn't very good, to be honest. It simply wasn't. There just wasn't many cars there. There wasn't much to do there. It just wasn't as fun. There was only one floor. This year, however, well, two floors because of the old school cars. This year, however, great stuff. I enjoyed it completely. Years past, there were plenty of cars to get into, plenty of cars to roll with, and as Dad got in this Tesla here, I got in a different Tesla, the Cybertruck. Cybertruck is actually relatively comfortable. It feels kind of like a spaceship type of thing, and it looks like it can take on the gore of a rhino. Not necessarily the CW version, but the gore of a rhino all the same. And the Polestar was crazy good. I was not ready for that the chair to move me up automatically. I didn't touch anything once I got in and shut the door. Some of the door handles and finding them, that became a challenge. And that became, I think, people trying too hard when it came to technology and where to put the door handles and how to get in and out of a car. It became a little bit too much. Anyway, I enjoyed this auto show. I love the future tech of it. I thought it was awesome. Again, I will never buy a car that needs gas. I will never do that. Never in life. We're not doing that. Especially with what's going on now, because gas prices are probably going to cost like $4 soon in a lot of the country. Anyway, other things I did aside from the yearly tradition that is family business, that is the auto show. Going back to Slattery's, I enjoyed that. That was fun. It's where you see this dolphin picture here. Going to Sully's in DC, another Dolphins bar, but this one there in Washington. You see why I'm trying to do Independence Hall. Miller's, I went there a few times, as some of y'all know. That was good times. I ran into a Dolphins fan during the Saints game, as some of you may remember. That was fun. I don't know if that's the official Independence Hall and or Patty Wax for the primetime stuff. I don't know yet. I do know there is another place that may be that. It may have already been that. I will scope that out in the fall and then spread the word if that is the case. I did also go to a few games, and when it came to the Phillies and Mets, I couldn't help but see that up close. Could I make out where that ball Kyle Schwarber hit in the first game? Can I make out where that went? No, but he did catch a goodbye, and he wasn't the only one that did so. There was other home runs that were hit by the Phillies, and that was an enjoyable evening. The game up in New York, not as enjoyable from a Phillies fan perspective, though Nolan McLean was amazing. I can't deny that. He was awesome. There's no denying how great he was and how good he could be. He's not there yet, but he could be good. Anyway, good times were had, and going to the Spurs game in DC, that was also awesome. And I'm also close to completing the DC set when it comes to watching sports in DC. From my favorite teams who obviously are not from the nation's capital or their surroundings. I saw the Phillies win there in 2022 before winning the pennant. I saw the Dolphins in a home game effectively in 2023. And obviously the Spurs game last December as we handle business against the Wizards. Yes, the Wizards are terrible. We know this. But the Spurs are great. Cool. I just need the Flyers to win at Capital One, and for that matter, the Union to win against DC United down there. I've got to wait a year for that unless we make the playoffs, but I got to wait a year for that. Either way, I hope to complete this set really soon. Well, sure, I've become a different animal in the same beast Mike physically, but what about mentally? It leads me to my resolution for 2026, and that's to learn a new skill. Will I master it by the end of the year? Probably not, but I ideally would get proficient enough where it maybe opened doors for me that I previously didn't really want to bother opening. And the skills in question maybe, probably won't have much to do with stuff I already know, at least not from the exterior side of it. Let's see how fast I can learn it if I am successful, and maybe doors will open up that I wasn't ready for. So there you have it. That is my kind of look back at the last 18 months, and hopefully I can take what I've learned and take it to different places I've never been before, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We'll see what happens here, and I hope that this year plays out properly for me and for all of you. I really hope that for 2026 we're not plunging into World War III and a lot of the world's getting nuked. But let's hope that does not happen here. Here's hoping that the next 300 days or so are going to be fruitful and prosperous for everyone. Much love to you all. And now I have to get back on the train and do these power rankings. Hockey first, probably coming tomorrow. Once again, Vancouver, you're going to be the first stop of my next train of thought.